Alright, you beautiful peoples of the internet. So here's probably the one a lot of people have been waiting for. What's in this magic little box? Okay, so I'll explain to you what's in this magic little box now. It's a HDMI splitter. It's 4K splitter. But also this is the one that'll let you do HDR pass-through. So I'm using, my use for this now is for the PS5 and the 4K Elgato capture. Now I have got my old one that I was using, the Teminice or something like that. Hold on, let me go and find it. 2 seconds. Right, back. So here's my old one. I was using the Teminice. As you can see, that does 4K pass-through. And it'll actually pass through 4K 60 to 2 different TVs. But this is my old one. This won't do HDR. I had a lot of people ask me about that. And the other thing is this won't scale down. So this will only output whatever the input is, it'll output. So let me just put that back in its little box. And we'll now open up. As you can see, this one came in a very indiscreet cardboard box. So let me just go and open this up for you. And this is the EZCO. EZCO? Yeah, I'm gonna call it EZCO. HDMI 2.0 splitter with a scaler. Now, I'm not actually using the scaler part of this, but say you've got an Elgato HD60 which does 1080p capture, well then you will be able to scale one of the outputs down to 1080p while the other output can go to your television of 4K. Alright, let's get it out of the box. It's very simple. It comes with a little power cable. Let me just get this out of the bag for you. So as you can see, it's just one of those micro HDMIs to a normal USB connection, and that's basically just for the power. I'm not currently using this cable. I'm using the old one from the Teminice power. They're all very similar, aren't they? These cables, they're $2 a penny at this time. Anyway, the EZCO. So I'll try and get it to focus in there. Here it goes. HDMI 2.0 HDR, scaler 4K to 1080p, HDCP 2.2 EDID. Now what I have found on the PlayStation 5, it'll actually pass through HDCP 2.3, I believe, comes up on the PS5. I'll try and put a picture of that somewhere about now, maybe. So here I have a direct input from the PlayStation 5, and as we can see, sorry I hit my mic. As we can see here, if we go, how we get here, go to settings, screen and video output information. So we're getting 4K 3840 2160 60 Hz. That's your 4K signal, and we're also getting YUV 422 HDR. So this is a HDR. And as I was saying before about if we look down here, there's the HDCP, and that's 2.3. Although on the splitter it's got HDCP 2.2. As you can see on here, the PlayStation's picking up a HDCP 2.3. So you've got HDMI in. So this is your signal in. For me, it's from my PS5, then goes into this. You've got your power, which that's what your cable's for. Your cable plugs into this power slot here. Then you've got a selection here of your EDID. Currently I have it on 4K, your 2K, and you can do copy. Now I'm not 100% sure what the other ones allow you to do. But essentially I found that leaving it on the 4K is working for me. Copying from the Elgato, or even if I'm not using my PC, just output into the TV, I'm getting HDR input to the Elgato, I'm getting HDR input into my 4K HDR TV. So that's how I've left that on 4K. So let's go to the outputs. Now this is where things get a little bit more interesting here. You've got your two outputs, output 1, output 2. Now for me, PS5 coming in, output 1 I send to my TV, output 2 I send to my Elgato. Now you've got a scaler here. So say I've got a 4K Elgato, but say you've got the 1080p Elgato, then you would switch one of these little switches. You'd have to get a little something. I haven't got very good nails, but let's see if I can do that. They are. So you'd switch that down. It's going to be a bugger for me to switch that back up now. I'll find something here to use that. Just use this little bit of scissors. So I'm going to switch that back, but that's what you would do. You would, will it focus? You'd get something small, probably not as sharp as this, and you'd swap one of them down. They're very awkward to press, but maybe that's a good thing, that they don't get pushed accidentally. So this is what I'm currently using now, as opposed to my old semi-nice one. Sorry, I just dropped it all over the floor. So that's my old one, this is a new one. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger, a bit thicker. It does have these nice sort of airflow, and again it's anodized aluminium as well. So I'll have to show you the receipts now of what I do get out of this. Now you will see that on a lot of my new videos I've been posting, I'm doing HDR 4K footage. The only problem with that, it takes so long for YouTube to actually upload the stuff. A 15-minute video can take a couple of hours to upload for me, but there we are. That doesn't matter. So if you've got an Elgato 4K and probably one of those AVerMedia 4K capture cards, this is the one you want. Now, price. This was about £12, the Teminice, £11.99. This one is currently £30, so you're paying nearly 3 times more, 2.8 times more. Say, let's just for simple sake say it's 3 times more expensive. So you're paying 3 times more price just for that premium to get HDR out of this. Now, is it worth it? Well, you know, I've got a 1500 nit HDR TV, so definitely I was missing the HDR with this. As far as capture is concerned, I wasn't too bothered about capturing HDR, although the Elgato 4K HD, Elgato 4K 60 Mark II capture card does capture HDR. That wasn't really too much of an issue. Now what I have noticed is that capturing HDR can be a bit of a nightmare. I'll show you examples of good HDR capture and bad HDR capture. And sometimes it can be down to whatever I believe whatever this is output into is copied over to this one. So if this is wrong, what was happening with me, sometimes the telly wasn't switching into HDR mode, and then what was happening, it wasn't a problem with this is fine, this works perfectly. It was the actual television. Sometimes I've got a 2018 Samsung QS7 FN, I believe it's called, and it just wasn't triggering in the HDR. So what was happening was when I was trying to capture HDR, it was getting this really weird bloated HDR. I'll try and put a image of that or a video of that, what bloated HDR will look like, and then I'll put what good HDR should look like as well, a little video of that. The only thing is I won't be doing this video in HDR simply because I've got to edit this video, and my editing software, I use free editing software, and it won't accept HDR as a signal. I can capture, although I can output HDR videos, what I'm essentially doing then is capturing using the Elgato software to capture it in 4K HDR, and I'm just pushing that straight into YouTube, so I've got no editing on the videos, they're just one quick capture. I mean, if you're paying for things like is it Apple? I can't remember what Apple call their editing software, but I believe theirs does HDR. And if you're paying for DaVinci Resolve Studio, that will let you do HDR. The free DaVinci Resolve won't let you do HDR, especially not in 4K. So you are limited to what you can do with captured HDR video, but that's just another story anyway. But essentially, this is the one you want for full HDR pass-through and splitting. So of course, just in case you don't realize what these do, but I'm sure you won't be on this video unless you know what a splitter does. It's one signal in and two signals out. So essentially you can have two TVs with the same picture coming in. So there we are. So I'm going to show you, well, I would have been showing you while I'm talking about this, examples of what I've captured, the display modes on the television and all that type of thing. So hopefully this will be useful for anyone out there that's had the same problem I've had, and that is one, getting a splitter that works 4K 60, which this one does work, you know, no problem with that at all. If all you're worried about, if you're not worried about HDR, get this one, you know, $11.99 bargain, really good, can't knock it. But if you do want the HDR, you're going to have to pay out a little bit more and get this EZCO one. Now, I did notice you have to be careful because there's ones similar names to this Teminice. I think there's one called like Topper Nice or something, and that won't be as good as this. Make sure you get the correct names when you're buying them. Because at least then I know I've tested them and I know they're working. Oh, and one more thing. I noticed some people in the comments have mentioned that they're struggling to get some of these things working. Make sure your HDMI cables are up to date. Now what I've done is I've bought all HDMI 2.1 cables, the newer standard. They're 48 gigabyte a second cables. The reason I've done that is I've basically future-proofed the cables. Although this is only a HDMI 2.0, it doesn't matter, you can put a HDMI 2.1 cable through this, and at least then you know you're going to get the full capacity of whatever this can pass through. And I'll try and put it up in the link I'll try and push a link on here, or put a link in the description. You can pick up free HDMI 2.1 cables now for under 15 quid from Amazon. So why not? You're future-proof then. So I'm currently using my PlayStation 5 cable goes into here, and then I've got two of the new HDMI 2.1s coming out, one going to my capture card and one going to the television. So I know everything is HDMI 2.1 cable wise, so I know that I'm not going to be losing any of the HDMI 2.0 bandwidth. And that's about it really. This is the top dog, I think, until HDMI 2.1 splitters come out. And I'm guessing this EZCO, they also do, so until the 2.1 splitters come out, then that'll do 4K 120. This won't. This will do 4K 60. It may do 1080p, 1440p, 120, but it won't do 4K 120. But I've noticed EZCO as a company, they do, you can get one of these that will actually split out 4 outputs, so it's a much longer box, and I think they even do bigger ones. They're obviously quite a good, well-renowned company, although you may not have heard of them, because I mean, who's heard of any of these HDMI splitter companies? I think EZCO are sort of the market leaders for good quality HDMI splitters. They use them a lot in big stores, in superstores for the TVs to split. You know, when you go into a superstore and they've got the same image across about 40 televisions showing 4K images, they're using EZCO 4K splitters because you can actually daisy chain these if you by buying more of them. So say you've got this one, not so much this one, but say you've got one with 4 outputs on it, or even you can get one with 8 outputs. You can have one in there, 7 coming out, one going to another one, and daisy chaining. So eventually you can have like 100 TV screens showing the same 4K image. That's just a bit of information that's probably useless to you, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyway, that's my review. This is the one you want for 4K HDR. This is the one if you just want 4K 60 and you're on a tight budget. Lovely. The only thing I'd like to ask you, if you've actually got this far, give me a like, or possibly even give me a subscribe. I'm a very small YouTuber. I'm not paid to do this. This is all off my own back. This is my own time, my own money. And that's that. Lovely. Thank you. You're all beautiful peoples, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.